Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am super excited for today's video because I have been going through, I've been doing this with my entire makeup collection, but primer is the first category I'm going to share because it's the first category. I've finished testing every primer in my collection, but I was recently watching Haley O's channel and I noticed she had a series on her channel all about testing every single makeup product in her collection and then kind of using it as a reckoning of like deciding which products within that category to keep versus not keep. And I just was really inspired by this because I feel like because I do so much project panning, there's so many other makeup products in my collection that I'm only touching here or there, and I'm like, do I even really have like a concept in my mind of whether or not I really like these products? So I decided to pull out my entire collection in each category and really use each product consistently for, you know, 4, 5, 6 days in a row, at least bare minimum. Sometimes a couple weeks if I really didn't feel like I had a grasp on whether or not I liked the product. And I'm going to be sharing with you a short review of each, again, primer today, primer in my collection, my thoughts, and whether or not I think I will keep it in my collection. I will be doing an end of the year series declutter, and so this is also going to help me decide what is gonna, you know, what's coming into 2024 with me. I really want to have a curated makeup collection where I only have products that I really enjoy using. So that is what this video is going to be today. We're just reviewing every single primer currently in my collection. I have 13 to share. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 11, 12. I have 12 primers to review for you guys today. So if you're interested, stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project painting content or just chit-chatting about makeup, I'd love if you'd consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into the video. Okay, you guys, I am like really not a fan of my base makeup today, but we're just rolling with it because I don't have time to redo my makeup. Okay, I'm gonna pull all of my primers out and just, again, I'm just sharing a short review on every single primer and kind of my thoughts. So maybe we'll start by prefacing I am 32 and I have pretty dry skin. The things that I'm usually looking for in a primer, I love a gripping primer, something that's really going to help make my makeup last all day. And I do like a hydrating primer, but I don't want a hydrating primer that like its sole purpose is just to hydrate. Usually I like for it to do a little bit more. I'm not looking for a ton in terms of pore filling, but I do like to have a pore filling primer in my collection. So those are kind of my preferences in the primer category. I do love to test new primers as well. Okay, so let's start with my pore filling primers. I currently only have 2 in my collection. So first up, I have this one from Catrice. This is the Prime and Fine Poreless Blur Primer for a long-lasting soft focus effect. I do really find that this does deliver in terms of that soft focus effect. Here, I'm gonna wipe my hands off so I can swatch these for you. And I actually think, especially for the price, this is a really nice pore filling primer. My favorite pore filling primer of all time is the Tarte Timeless Smoothing Primer, and I just feel like I now kind of like compare every pore filling primer to the Tarte Timeless Smoothing. So here is, I don't know how well you'll be able to see these two hands like compared, but it really does give kind of a soft focus blurred effect. I do feel like it does a nice job of filling my pores, and I don't get a ton of pilling with this. I will say the drier my skin is, the more I do find that this does pill on me. Not terribly, but there definitely are days where I'm noticing kind of the pilling, not something that I can't work with. Usually it's like a situation where it's like the pilling where you can kind of actually just really quick rub it off your face, and that's kind of it, and then you can go in with your makeup. But I just wanted to point that out. I think because I love Tarte Timeless so much, both of the pore filling primers in my collection, I'm considering decluttering just because I just love Tarte Timeless so much. You need the smallest amount. It really fills my lines and pores, whereas this does that, and it gives that kind of blurred focus effect. But I also am just like, I feel like I'm never excited to reach for this. I'd rather opt for hydration over this for that soft focus blur. So I am considering potentially decluttering this primer. And then the other pore filling primer that I currently have in my collection is this one from Milk Makeup. This is the Pore Eclipse Mattifying Primer, and I do feel like this actually does a really good job of mattifying. This primer also has a really interesting scent to it, and again, a little bit kind of goes a long way. I don't have any issues at all with this one pilling. It just has such a weird scent to it. I never have pilling issues with this one. My only thing with this one is, again, it really does offer that like soft focus, blurred effect, but this really does feel kind of drying on my skin. So it's a very rare occasion where I'm wanting this. And truly, I feel like this is definitely something that I find is more mattifying than it is pore filling. Like, I don't feel like it's gonna like really settle into my pores and really fill my pores and really fill my lines. Like, I really feel like this is just more meant as a mattifying primer, which is just not something I typically am opting for. If I were to keep one of these in my collection though, I feel like I would declutter this one and get the Tarte Timeless, and then keep this one around for those days that maybe I am wanting something really matte, which is really never. But that's my thought on this. If you are super oily and you're looking for a good mattifying primer, I would definitely recommend this one. Like, my skin feels dry now on my hand, so not matte is not my thing, but if it is yours, I think you would really enjoy this one from Milk. Okay, let's just move on to this, because this is the worst primer in my collection, possibly the worst primer I've tried or used. It's the Peter Thomas Roth Instant Firm No Filter Primer. No matter what, this is gonna pill on you. No matter how long I wait to do my skincare, or wait till after I've done my skincare, or don't even do my skincare, this is gonna pill. I do feel like this, like, I feel the firming with this, but it's gonna pill. And it's like one of those situations where, like, even if you think you've gotten all the pillies off, you're then doing your makeup and you're like, oh, this is still pilling. I've even worn this on a day that I like wasn't going in with foundation after. I was just like using a primer and then doing like brows and mascara, still pilling all day long. So I will end up decluttering this. I just can't make this work. I thought maybe if I could make this work on days that I was just doing mascara and brows, no foundation, that I would keep this around for that. It doesn't even work for that. Like, it's not a good primer at all. So I will be getting rid of that. Maybe we can talk about like blurring ish primers next, like face filter primers. A favorite in my collection, I've repurchased this primer before, is the Tula Skincare Filter Primer Blurring and Moisturizing Primer. So this primer actually does have a tint to it, and they have some different shades within their range. Mine is super white, but it does, as you blend it out, it does have a bit of a pigment to it. It's like one of those where it's like almost like the pigment beads. You can barely see it there against my hand. I have mine in actually a shade, I hope you can see that, a shade that's a little bit warmer, and I love this for the summer when I am self-tanning. I'll mix this with like the Drunk Elephant Debronzy drops to create this really beautiful filtered effect. Usually I'm using this mixed with the Drunk Elephant Debronzy drops almost as like a tinted moisturizer, like not even necessarily as a primer. I mean, it is my primer, but I'm using it kind of as I would a tinted moisturizer, and it's so beautiful for that. It really does offer this beautiful blur to the skin while still looking like your skin, and I just highly recommend this product for someone who's looking for potentially in spring summer when you self tan to match your face a little bit better, or someone who just likes to do like a no makeup. This is such a good product for that, so I definitely will be keeping. I love my Tula Blur Primer. It's one of my favorite primers I've ever tried, and I actually, when I first started using this, was not a huge fan of this primer. So how the times change, I tell ya. New to my collection this year, this one is the Iconic London Underglow Blurring Primer. I'm sorry for the train noises. This is really beautiful for a blur as well. Again, it gives a very beautiful kind of soft focus effect. I don't know if it even makes a difference as I like swatch these out. I'm like, does this really show you anything? I honestly don't know. But what I love about this one from Iconic London is it offers this blur to the skin, but it's like a glowy blur. I don't know if you can see. Do you see that glow? That is so pretty. It offers such a beautiful glow. This is one I really like Again, on days maybe like this past summer, if I wasn't doing a full face of makeup but I wanted a bit of a glow to the skin, I loved this for that. It kind of reminds me of the Becca Backlight Primer. Like it's just blurring, glowy blurring, and it's so pretty. It does offer a slight tack to the skin too, so I really enjoyed using this with like a tinted moisturizer such as like the Fenty Ease Drops that I wanted to add a little bit of a glow to. I would mix these two together and I loved that look, but I do find this has a bit of a tack to it, so it does help prolong my foundation wear as well, so I really enjoy it for those reasons as well. One of my new favorite primers in my collection. And then also a new favorite primer this year. This is from Fenty. It's the Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer. This again is going to give you a bit of a blurring effect. But this one really does offer like a good amount of stick to it. Like I do really find that my makeup really does grip onto this. It's not a gripping primer, but it kind of reminds me of a gripping primer in that it just has a nice bit of stick to it, a nice bit of tack. I don't think it's the most hydrating, but it does offer a bit of hydration. It feels really nice on the skin as I'm applying it. And this is something that right now I don't have a gripping primer in my collection. I definitely want to buy another gripping primer at some point, but I've been using this because I feel like this offers me like kind of the grip that I'm looking for. A gripping primer is going to offer a bit more, but for now this is working. And I also love that it offers a soft focus to the skin as well. I think it's a very nice primer. Okay, the rest of these are mostly hydrating slash glowy primers. I don't know what you'd even consider the Refi primer. It's the face primer, the Glow and Sculpt. I think this is really gimmicky and I do not understand the hype of this. I feel like this is like all the rage, or everybody's talking about this as it being this great primer. I think it's like a TikTok sensation. I haven't watched TikTok in a while, but I don't get it. So first of all, you like roll the primer on, but it's incredibly hard to control like the amount of product you're getting because you like squeeze it and roll it. And I think it's so gimmicky. And I just don't think like the primer does anything. Like maybe it offers like a bit of a glow, feels like a little hydrating, but it isn't actually hydrating to the skin. Oh my gosh, my street is so noisy today. I just don't think it does anything. I'm not gonna declutter this one because I feel like this is one of those that like I can get use out of, and I spent like $34 or $38 on this. It's not like as unusable as the Peter Thomas Roth Instant Firm, but it just like it does feel nice. It's really, really thin in texture. And it does offer like a bit of a glow, but it's not a glow that like sticks around, and it just, I don't get the hype. I don't get the hype other than like, it's cool that like you can roll it on your skin, but I actually find it more annoying than useful. Okay. A primer, another primer that I'm like, I can make this work. It's not a favorite, but using it like a week in a row consistently did make me have more of an appreciation for this. So this is the Nabla Angel Aurora Radiant Primer Plumping Serum Primer. I don't feel like this plumps. And it is quite distracting on the skin, but it does actually offer a good amount of tack. Like it's quite glowy, very, very glowy, as you can see. And if you rub it in and then like pat it in, it does offer like a decent amount of attack. It just feels like heavy and thick. Such a pretty glow though. I used this a couple of days with just doing brows and mascara, and the glow really did last a good amount of time. It just feels heavy. It does have a bit of like a golden glow to it too, so I don't necessarily know that it's gonna work for everybody. It's definitely not something I would purchase again, and I don't really like, I don't recommend it. It is so glowy though. It's glowy, but it's for me, it's not worth the cost of how distracting and heavy it feels on the skin. Obviously I own it, I paid money for it, I can make it work, so I'm going to, but I would not recommend that, nor would I go out and repurchase. This has been a tried and true favorite for so long. I don't know that I'll instantly go out and repurchase this, but it's definitely something I could see ending up in my cart again at some point. It's the First Aid Beauty Coconut Skin Smoothing Priming Moisturizer. I've gone through so many of these. It is a really hydrating primer. I don't think it offers the most tack to the skin, but it again offers this really beautiful subtle glow, and it does feel very nice and hydrating on the skin. It also smells like coconut, so I just love it. It brings back the nostalgia of like when I first fell in love with primers. This is my first love of a primer. I do feel like it has a bit of a blurring aspect too with that glow, and it's just, yeah, I probably will purchase this again. Like, I really, really love it for a hydrating glow, like a hydrating healthy skin like glow with a bit of a blur. Could it have a little bit more of a tack to it? Yes. Like, there's definitely days where I like want to reach for this, but I want more of a grip, so then I'll reach for a gripping primer. But I also love this in the summer, again, when I'm doing just like mascara and brows. It's such a good one, such a solid one. If you have dry skin and you like a glowy primer, I highly recommend that one. And then the last three are all kind of hydrating primers, and I really enjoy all of them. Again, I really like a hydrating primer. So this one from Danessa Myricks, the Yummy Skin Glow Serum. I think this is so pretty. It has this really beautiful golden glow to it. I think there's a couple of different shades you can get. I have mine in the shade Main Squeeze. There it is right there. It just feels so hydrating on the skin. It kind of reminds me at first, like, kind of reminds me of the Nabla one, but this one is much thinner in texture and just does not feel distracting on the skin once you've rubbed it out. This also does have, oh, I love the smell of it too. Kind of smells like a watermelon Jolly Rancher. That's what I'm getting from it. It smells really good. Once you get this one rubbed in, it does have a nice tack to it as well. Again, not as much as a gripping primer would, but definitely a good amount of tack that if I'm wanting something gripping as well as hydrating, I am reaching for this. I think I'm gonna love this so much in the wintertime as well. Again, offers a beautiful glow too. We love a glowy skin, a healthy glowy skin. A healthy glowy finish. So I highly recommend this one if you, again, like a glowing hydrating primer. Another hydrating primer I really like that sinks into the skin really quickly is the NYX Plump It Right Back Plumping Serum Primer. This I like, and I think even if you had oily skin, you would enjoy this because it's such a thin consistency that it offers just a slight hydration, but also, again, offers a good tack to the skin, and it's just a nice primer. It is a little bit thicker as it comes out, but as you buff it into the skin, it really thins out into this serum-like texture that just feels so hydrating on the skin and then does leave you with a tack. Like, as I'm pressing this into the skin, like, I feel the tack as my hands come up. So again, if I'm wanting something that is both gripping and hydrating, I have been reaching for this. This is something that I will purchase again. These two definitely will purchase again. I haven't really gone through and said if I purchase, whoopsies. I'll keep that in mind for the next time I do a video like this. And then my final primer, you guys, this is also a tried and true favorite staple primer. If you are looking for a smoothing primer, I don't care if you want drugstore high-end, what, like, you just need a smoothing primer, I highly recommend checking this one out from Milani. It's the Chill Out Soothing Primer with wild oat extracts and ceramides. So I actually got this because I was looking for something soothing on the skin, and what I found is that it is nice and soothing on the skin. It has a cooling sensation right at the beginning. And I do feel like my skin just feels nourished when I wear this primer. Like, it just feels so comfortable on the skin. But this also has a very nice blurring aspect to it, a good tack. Like, I do feel the tack. It's blurring in like a pore filling way, but it's not distracting at all. I believe it's silicone free. Yeah, it is silicone free, but I mean, the blur with this, I was not expecting, but it's such a positive to this primer. I cannot recommend this one enough. I absolutely will purchase this one when I'm finished. This is something I find myself not reaching for because I don't want to finish this when I think it's like $10. It's probably like my least expensive primer in this whole bunch. And it's like, just use it because you really like it, especially if I have really stressed out skin, that maybe active breakouts, and I'm still wanting to wear makeup, I will reach for this because it really is soothing to the skin, and I just cannot recommend this one from Milani enough. So those are the 12 primers in my collection currently, and my thoughts / mini reviews on each of these primers. I would love to know in the comments below if you've tried any of these, what your thoughts are, and if you have any primer or recommendations, let a girl know what she should pick up next. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting me and my channel as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.